Hello everyone, good afternoon. It is Sarah Shipton here from Scrapbooking with Sarah. I'm coming live to you on Tuesday, April 23rd with this week's scrapbooking challenge. And I have to share with you, I'm starting to get a little sad as we come towards the end of April. This will be my second to last week's challenge using the Close to My Heart product. Hi Diane, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. It's great to see you online. I apologise that I'm coming to you a little bit later with my Technique Tuesday class. There's Miss Yasmin. Hi Yasmin, how are you? Are you busy preparing for our next market? I'm super excited for our next market. There's Miss Pauline. Hi Pauline, how are you? Thanks for joining us today. It's been a little noisy in my house today, so this is the first opportunity I've had to be home alone. I do love it. I love having the teenagers here. Absolutely, I do. I have to make the most of those moments, right? When you are a half empty nester, you have to make the most of the moments that you've got, right, ladies? I'm sure that some of you can relate to that. So, as I was sharing with you, I'm a little bit sad because this is going to be the second to last scrapbooking challenge I do featuring exclusively Close to My Heart product. And Mondays and Tuesdays I use in my office for some creative time and some scrapbooking time. There's Miss Trudy. Hi Trudy. Good afternoon from Tassie. Thanks so much for joining us. Is it cold down there? Mondays and Tuesdays I use for my creative time, and I have to share with you girls, I have really struggled feeling that creative mojo this week as we edge towards the finish line with Close to My Heart. April 30 will be our last day. And don't get me wrong, I'm super excited to be transitioning to Stampin' Up. I've been playing with some of their new product today. I'm missing the stickers. And ironically, I'm going to be talking to you today about creating embellishment clusters. And one of the things I love about using embellishment clusters on my scrapbooking layouts is that they enhance the story that I'm trying to tell. And so, yes, this group will be carrying on next month. Of course, Pauline, we will still be here. Scrapbooking with Sarah, 100%. My group will continue as is. There will be no name change. It just will mean that from when I do my first Technique Tuesday class in May, I'm going to be sharing Stampin' Up! Product with you guys. So that's super exciting. I have been doing some creative projects and I'm looking forward to sharing them with you. And working with embellishment clusters on scrapbooking layouts is something I really enjoy doing. As I was saying, it helps to enhance my scrapbooking layout. So as many of you know, I'm a very passionate memory keeper. And for me, first and foremost, my photos and my journaling is what's important to me. So I've been scrapbooking since I was in middle school. For those of you that are new to me, I've been scrapbooking since I was in middle school. I started scrapbooking because I had to do a school project in year 6. I had a new English teacher as I transitioned to middle school, and she sent us home with this school project, and it was called A Book About Me. And most of it was just answers to questions that were automatically pre-populated in this particular book. It was kind of like a mini scrapbook, and I had to answer the questions in that particular book. And there was a section in the book that was about family history and genealogy, and I enlisted the help of my paternal grandfather to help me research his side of the family. And what I started was Pandora's Box, girls, let me tell you. And that is how I got into scrapbooking. So it started with researching my family history. And for many years, he would send me photos and genealogy charts and stories and handwritten letters. And I collated all of that memorabilia and those photographs in a box over the years. And when he passed away in 1997, I wanted to do something with all of the photos and the memorabilia, but I wasn't really sure what to do and how to start. And a few years passed. I was at a baby expo with our 5-month-old daughter at the time, and there was a scrapbooking company there with a big sign that was encouraging us to enrich our past, preserve our present, and inspire hope for our future through scrapbooking. And one of the albums that was there on display was a heritage album, and my mind automatically went to the box of photographs and memorabilia that I had been collecting for many years through the help of my grandfather. And aside from guilt that I'd left that stuff sitting in a box, I was also really excited and inspired to do something with those photos. And one of the first albums I made was that heritage album, full of all the photographs and the documents and memorabilia that he had left for me. I then went on to make a baby album for our daughter, who was 5 months old at the time. And what started as a bit of a project or a hobby for me on the side then became a business. And here I am 22 years later, teaching the importance of documenting our stories, preserving our photos, recording our memories. And I always say to my girls that if you don't tell your story, no one else is going to tell it for you. And no one can tell your story as well as you can, because your story is unique and it's special. And it's so important to document that. So that is one of the reasons why I love doing what it is that I do. So when I talk to you about embellishment clusters, I want you to know that adding the pretty paper and the stickers and the die cuts and doing the stamping and doing the die cutting, that's all the creative part of what we do, right? That's the process. That's the journey. That's the time where you can sit down and you can chill out and you can switch off and you can just create and have fun. But for me, it's very much the photos. And so these photos that I'm sharing with you today, I've created this layout from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 3 book, and we are up to pattern number 32. And so we're getting to the end of this Make It From Your Heart book. You will see here that this photo here is for a 5x7 inch photo, and I've actually replaced that 5x7 inch photo with two 4x6 inch landscape photos. So I've cut this piece of cardstock. If you are going to put a 5x7 inch photo here, you're going to cut your cardstock at 5¼ by 7¼ inches. But because I had two 4x6 inch photos on here, I've cut my cardstock at 6¼ by 8¼ to be able to fit these two 6x4 inch landscape photos on this piece of cardstock together. And I've used the color shortbread cardstock to mat these two photos, and also to cut down my journal box here, which I've cut at 2x3 inches. And I've just stuck that on some pattern paper here. So I'm working with this particular pattern here. So first and foremost, when you are using a scrapbooking pattern, I want you to know that it is okay to change your pattern if the orientation of your photographs do not match the pattern. You can actually mix it up. There is no hard and fast rules that says you have to stick to exactly as it is. You want to take your pattern or your blueprint, and this is going to be the inspiration, your starting point for what will end up being your layout, your work of art, or your work of heart, I like to say. So what's important are your photos and your stories. And you might be thinking, well, this is just like a hotel room. I posted this, the guy's like, you got like the toilets? Like, why are you taking a photo of the toilet? Now, initially, this was a portrait photo, and I had taken the photo of the bathroom. So, okay, I'm going to backtrack a little here. One of the things I love to do when I am scrapbooking my travels, and please tell me, girls, if there's anyone else out here that does this, when I get to a hotel or somewhere new or a bed and breakfast or wherever it is, an Airbnb that we're staying, the very first thing I do when I walk into the room after I put my bags down is take photos of the hotel room, the accommodation, just so I have that for my scrapbooking as a memory. I love looking back on that. I don't know about you guys, but as a little kid, we used to take road trips and stay in like motels or like motor inns. And I look back now at like, you know, us kids on the bed with our parents and this really gaudy 70s and 80s looking decor. And you laugh about the decor and the colors and the furniture. And I just love the fact that one day we're going to look back on this and, you know, we're going to look at this and we're going to laugh. And at this time, but I don't know if you can notice here, Darren. So there are 3 of us in this hotel room, right? This is in London. It was a really beautiful old building. So we were in West End London, and this hotel called the Gem Langham Hotel in Fitzrovia. It was walking distance to Oxford Street, Bond Street, Regent Streets. We were right in the thick of it. The building was really old, but I have to tell you, oh, here we go. Look, I've got some more photos here. I didn't use all of the photos. So the building was really old, but how's this, girls? You're never going to believe this, right? When I looked really closely here at the hotel, it says here, I didn't even know this sign was here until I printed these photos. I was looking at this. It says Howard D. Walker or D. Walter Nurses Home. So once upon a time, this particular building was used to accommodate nurses, which I love. I love that history. I love architecture when I travel. I'll take photos of old buildings. I'll take photos of doorways. It's just this thing. I'm glad to hear, okay, good. Pauline is guilty of doing this. Chris takes photos as soon as she walks into a hotel. Fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm so glad to hear that I'm not alone. It's just one of these things that I really love to do. And so Darren is laughing here, right? And this is the thing I love about the photos and the memories, right? We walked into this hotel room. Now, notoriously, accommodation in London is small, but I'm not kidding you. When we walked in, it was like, oh my gosh, you could hardly swing a cat in there. So here's us in a double bed, and here's this tiny little single bed. And for those of you that don't know my son, he's like 6'4". He's taller than my husband. And we walked in and Darren's laughing. He's like, ha ha ha, like Jai's got this tiny little single bed here. And I'm right here next to him. And it was just, we were laughing. But we thought, oh my gosh, we're going to be in this hotel room for, I don't know, I think it was like 5 nights, 6 nights that we were here. And so, yes, the loo is there. The toilet is there as well, or the water closet, if we're using the professional term there. But I just loved it. It was a portrait photo, and the lighting here, I will actually probably scrapbook some more photos of our hotel, and I'll probably put the portrait one in there because the lighting was just gorgeous, but it didn't fit the particular layout here. So there was no air conditioning in the hotel, and it was spring. So we had some days where it was quite mild. I mean, I wouldn't say it was hot, it wasn't warm, but it was funny because we had to open up the window to get some fresh air in, but there was no like fly screen or security screen there. You literally just opened the window and it was like, oh, hello, there we go. We can see our neighbours. So just these funny sort of things that I remember stories of. And sometimes I will journal those types of stories that I'm sharing here with you now. My journaling box here just talked about where the hotel was and what we were close together. I do have some other photos that I'm going to scrapbook of our time in Fitzrovia that are of the surrounding streets, the little charming buildings and the pubs and just the little sidewalks. I just love all of that sort of stuff that I take photos of. So I will journal. I will do some more journaling about some of those stories that I've just shared with you now. The other reason I love to take photos is there's artwork on the wall here. So that thing I love to do when we are staying in hotels. And so, yeah, I always will include my accommodation in my scrapbooking. So first and foremost are the photos, the stories. And then when it comes to doing my embellishing or decorating or being creative, whatever you want to call it, one of the things that I love to do is create these embellishment clusters, as you can see here, okay? And because this particular pattern had these wide 4-inch strips of paper, there was plenty of room for me to use the embellishment clusters. Now, when I work with the patterns, I do take note of where they have done the embellishment clusters for their scrapbooking designs as well. You can see I've got this big title down here, a little embellishment cluster here, one in this corner here, and one here as well. Now, obviously that being a 5x7-inch photo, it took up quite a lot of room there. And so I've used my die cuts down the bottom here for an embellishment. So just coming back to the featured paper collection for April. So the Let's Go Anywhere featured paper collection. This will be the last paper collection I'll be working with Close to My Heart. We'll be transitioning over to Stampin' Up! On 1st of May. But as you know it, for those of you that have been scrapbooking with me for some time, we will have 4 months worth of paper collections that Stampin' Up! Have purchased from Close to My Heart, and we will create with for the months of May, June, July, and August, okay? The first paper collection we're going to be working with in May is called Enjoy the Ride. However, the product is not physically in the country as of yet, and it probably won't be until about the middle of May. So you are going to see me create with some Stampin' Up! Paper suites for the first couple of weeks of May until I can get my hand on that Close to My Heart branded product. So one of the things I really love with embellishments is that you've got the option here for stickers. You've got the option here for die cuts. And don't also forget that you can use your paper as embellishments as well. So I'm just going to grab some of those products out for you closely. Now, with the die cuts, the thing I love about this is that you can mix and match your embellishments. So you can use a combination. Here I've used a combination of the stickers. So this is a sticker, this is a sticker, 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 sticker. You can also use die cuts. So here I went with the black die cuts for this layout because there were quite some dark colors here in the outside of the building. So I went with the black die cuts instead of the brown ones for this particular layout. I just felt that they would stand out a little bit better here. And we have got some darker tones here in the photos. So I've used a combination of stickers here. I've also used some die cuts. So the little aeroplane here is a die cut. These crosses are die cuts. This arrow here is a die cut. And this tag coming across through here is a die cut as well. And then I've also used paper as well. So last week, or it might have been the week before, I demonstrated a technique called random stamping. So this is actually what I demonstrated while I was live doing Technique Tuesday with you ladies. So this is what I had left over. All I've done here is I've actually rounded the corners of my cardstock, and I had this 3x4 inch bit of, 2x3 inch bit of pattern paper, and I thought I'm going to use that, and I'm going to pair that up here with this piece of pattern paper, which was part of the pattern. I've rounded the corners of this here. So here you can see where I've used a combination of stickers, papers, and also die cuts for this particular embellishment cluster. So mix and matching them up. Another really great product to use for embellishment clusters is using your stamps. So using the stamp and the coordinating thin cut set. Now, I haven't used that in this layout because whilst I've got the stamp set, the coordinating thin cut has actually sold out. But this is where you would also use, here's a great example here, and you'll see me do more of this as we transition over to Stampin' Up! And I start playing with their products. You can see here, so this globe here, we've actually stamped that globe and then it's been cut out with its coordinating thin cut. The suitcase here as well, and also the passport. So this here is a combination of papers, die cuts, stickers, and then stamped images that have been cut out with their coordinating thin cut. So when you're doing embellishment clusters, there are so many different products that you can use to group together. It might be sequins or gems. It could be ribbon. It could be twine. There's so many different types of embellishment products that you can incorporate to work together to create your embellishment clusters. So it makes a focal point, and you can see I've done quite a large one here because I had this fairly vast space of my base page to work with to be able to create this embellishment cluster. I probably wouldn't have done one so big if I had more photos. And you can see here in this example, because they've only done the one photo. Now, something like this, I don't typically scrapbook one photo per layout. I don't also do a lot of single page layouts, but where they come in really handy are title pages in your album. So let's say you were doing a travel scrapbook and you wanted to do a single page layout for that very first page in your scrapbook, having one feature photo on the front with this beautiful embellishment cluster where you've got a lot of room on your base page to work with, that would be where something like that would come in really handy, okay? So, because I've only got the two photos here, there was quite a lot of room. And because my base page is neutral, I've got this beautiful mink pattern paper with the aeroplane here and the geotags. And then we've got this blue or periwinkle striped pattern paper which we could have run vertically or horizontally. So you've got quite a fair bit of room, and these colours are quite muted, so that embellishment cluster is going to really pop there. So I decided to round the corners of my cardstock and my pattern paper here because the corners of my sticker was rounded. I've actually stuck the word, this is another sticker on top of the sticker, so adventure is waiting. I've stuck that on, and that's on a little bit of an angle. So with this particular embellishment cluster, I've made the large sticker straight and then popped the embellishments underneath it on an angle. So one of the things I like to do, I've actually stuck this on with some 3D foam tape. So I've stuck this down and this down first, and then I've left this bit here loose, and then I've played around with tucking bits of paper in and underneath to get a feel for what that's going to look like. And one of the products that I love to have on hand when I'm creating my embellishment clusters are my tweezers. Unfortunately, this close to my heart set of tweezers has retired, but there will be a tool that you'll be able to purchase from me when we go live with Stamping Up on May 1st, if you don't already have one of these. So one of the things I like to do is I like to pick up my embellishment with my tweezers, and I will maneuver it around the layout to see where I think it looks good. And you can see here I've ended up going with this tag, and I've done this tag through here straight, again, just to help ground that cluster a little bit more by having this straight and this straight, because these two pieces here are on an angle. So having some of those clusters where, some of those embellishment pieces where they are straight. So if I was to use this one here as an example, they've actually put this sticker here face up, and everything else around here is on a little angle. So having one where it is straight just helps to ground that cluster a little bit better. So I do love to use my tweezers so I can play around with where things are going to be positioned. So that's also fun. So a couple of things that you want to have on hand when you're doing your embellishment clusters. 3D foam tape. So popping some of them up with 3D foam tape, like I've done with this sticker here and this sticker here. Popping some of them up with 3D foam tape just helps to add a little bit of dimension. Also using glue dots. That's another adhesive that you want to have on hand. This comes in really handy when you are doing these little pieces of embellishments, the die cuts here. So popping just one little glue dot on the back of those. Putting some of the embellishments you can see here over the corners of your papers. This was a sticker that I have actually put just above this tag I've made. This world sticker here, again, I tucked that in and underneath there. So I've popped these two bits down first, and then this one straight, and then I just start to build around it. So I'll try different stickers, I'll try different size die cuts until I see something that I think lands well, and then I will stick those down. So that's how I've ended up with that little piece here. Here I've just put something small at the top, so a tag. We've actually tucked that tag in and underneath that bit of cardstock. What some of my customers will do is sometimes cut their stickers in half, so you're not wasting that. You could cut that in half, and then you could flush that right against the top of your cardstock, or in this case I've just been lazy and stuck that underneath my cardstock there. Popping this arrow sticker up with some 3D foam tape just to give it a little bit of dimension, and then just one little cross die cut there in a group of 3, and that creates a cute little cluster at the top. So what's happening is the eye is going from left to right in your album. You will see, and as saying, that's why my arrows are coming in this way like so. So the eye will naturally gravitate from left to right as it's looking through your album. And one of the other things I love to do, which I talk about quite often, is putting the embellishment clusters into like a triangle pattern here, okay? So that automatically helps the eye to come from left to right and across the page as well. This one on this side here, I've just popped a little sticker flush against my photo here. This, that was a die cut, which I popped up with some 3D foam tape. This has been popped up with some 3D foam tape, and then a large cross and 2 smaller ones. So just making a little triangular look there, which also is super fun. I love doing this, having little sentiment stickers at the top of my journal boxes. So that one's also been popped up with some 3D foam tape there as well. And then with my title down the bottom here, just a little embellishment cluster here with a sticker. We've got a arrow die cut here and then another little love heart sticker over the top. I could have put that on with some 3D foam tape, but it was kind of already popped up a little bit, being on top of a sticker and then a die cut as well. So just creating those little clusters there looks really cute and fun. So I hope that's given you ladies some fun tips today on creating embellishment clusters on your scrapbooking layouts. You can see that this large one quite here was ample. I think if we'd have done another really big one over here, sometimes less is more, wouldn't you agree? Thank you so much for watching today, ladies. I can't wait to see what you create with your scrapbooking layouts for this week's challenge. And I'll be coming live to you again next Tuesday. That will officially be our very last Technique Tuesday as a close to my heart maker. And then the week after that, I'll be starting to share some of the Stampin' Up product with you. I'm kind of thinking I might even do 2 challenges next week. One with some close to my heart product and one with some Stampin' Up product. So we'll see how that all goes. Have a great week. Thanks for watching, ladies. I can't wait to see what you create. Bye for now.